"Slow down, George," he yelled over the radio. "Too fast." "Try to keep up, Belter boy. The faster we pull this in, the sooner we're out of here." "No, it doesn't work like that," Jake said. "If it comes in too fast, it will hit the hull. There's no brakes on this thing."
"What are you talking about?"
"Fine, I'll stop and wait for you." George stopped pulling on his lever. He had only ever been on a planet or on a station under gravity. He wasn't used to the behavior of lines under stress in zero-G. The container slid toward the hull. There was no air friction or gravity to slow it down. The 2,000-kilogram container just kept sliding through space directly for the ship. The chains floated loose. Jake started twitching his arm back and forth on the winch. The container had become unbalanced, pulled faster on one end than the other, and it began to pivot. The pointed corner of the metal box pivoted so that it was pointed straight toward George.
"Crap!"
George yelled.
"It's gonna hit me!"
He reached down and punched the button to turn off his magnetic shoes.
"No, wait!"
said Mitch, standing next to him. George didn't choose to listen. He pushed with his knees, hard, and flew out into space. He was safe for now, but he was also heading away from the hull at speed. Mitch was both more experienced and more agile. He pushed his button to turn off his shoes, but he didn't push away from the ship, but across it towards a grab bar. He hit the hull, bounced off, and rolled forward, and grabbed a second grab bar as he flew by. He continued his roll and pivoted over his hands, performing a full 180-degree forward roll and landing on his feet. Just as his feet rolled over the hull, he re-engaged his shoes, sticking himself back to the hull. Mitch became upright about 10 meters away, standing on the hull as though nothing had happened. The yelling on the radio channel had distracted Jake. He looked up. "Shit!" he said. It was too late to stop the container from hitting the hull, but if he could pull his end in and stabilize its flight, it would hit side on. If the corner hit with all the mass behind it, it would puncture the hull like a giant metal arrow. Jake cranked harder. "Mark, help me pull!" He called out over the radio.
"Get out of there! It's going to hit no matter what you do.
If I pull it toward me, it won't hit as hard." Jake's cranking began to have an effect. The container began to swivel. "Help me! Shit!" The winch jammed. "I need to unhook this!" Jake reached down and began pulling on the chain. He yanked it, but it was well stuck. The line tensioned as the container drifted toward the ship. Jake abandoned the crank and pulled on the chain with both hands. The container continued to pivot, and the chain jerked tightly over his hands. Jake tried to pull his hands out, but they were stuck. The chain jammed on his armored cuffs. "Shit, I'm stuck!" he said over the radio. "Help me out, Mark! Mark, help!" Mark backed away from Jake. His helmet rocked up and down as he moved his gaze between Jake and the far end of the container. Jake felt the chain tighten around his wrists. The tension was increasing as the container pulled the chain taut. "Mark, help! I'm stuck! It will puncture my suit!"
"No, it won't."
Mark continued backing away. "What?" "Hang on." Mark backed still farther away. Jake yelled. He started shaking his hands back and forth and pulling up and down, then banging them on the winch. They were totally stuck. The chain was wrapped around them and pulling tighter by the second. Jake looked up and saw the container looming over him. It was going to crush him, even if he pulled free. Mark kept backing away. "Mark, help me! You bastard! Don't run away!" Mark stepped back one more step, looked down at Jake, and then up at the container. He pushed the magnetic release button on his belt, jumping aft toward the airlock and free of the impact zone. "Bastard!" Jake yelled. He rolled sideways to look up. The container slid toward him. Jake braced his feet and pushed. If he was going to be crushed, he would go down fighting.